Disney dropped its latest $100 million movie in the form of a film adaptation of the 1962 classic by Madeleine L'Engle, A Wrinkle in Time. Now, the story is beloved, so Disney wouldn't just throw $100 million at a product and then completely change the themes and elements that made it great, right? Yes, they would. Including, but not limited to, removing all elements of Christianity, its themes, and even Jesus, because they said they wanted to be more inclusive. I'm not kidding. I'm Ben Davies. This is Pure Hollywood. Disney's about to have to tesser across the galaxy to find moviegoers to pay off this crazy budget and marketing because it opened with about $30 million, and I guarantee you the ticket sales are about to plummet. Why, you ask? Because even the critics don't like this movie and couldn't give it a pass, even though it was chock full of every piece of social justice propaganda and current political themes that the left usually likes. But don't worry, other media outlets will do their best to get you there in the seats while also admitting that it's pretty bad. Vox saying, quote, "A Wrinkle in Time values feelings more than narrative, and that is not a bad thing." The New York Times had to gloss over many of the issues and focus on something truly important, the diversity of cast. Specifically talking about casting, they say it's a welcome innovation and a declaration of a new norm, adding that this is how movies should look from now on, which is to say how they should have looked all along, unquote. They did literally almost change every single character from the original book. Now, it's clear that they did sacrifice story for the sake of agenda, and this is highlighted by the complete removal of the Christian themes and elements of the movie. And they said the reason for changing this core principle of the movie was to be more inclusive. The writer Jennifer Lee said that this also feels like it's a movie that celebrates inclusiveness and diversity, so having it be about one religious denomination wouldn't really be keeping up with that theme. Does that make sense? And she goes on to say that everyone has a different lens. So there's no religion in this movie, right? Wrong. Oh wait, they still quote Gandhi, Muhammad Rumi, and the Buddha. That doesn't sound very inclusive, does it? Oh, the mind of the left. As a movie, I'm going to give A Wrinkle in Time a 2 out of 5. Now, the story is about a young girl who can tether through space and time, so this lends some great opportunity for special effects, and which is a big reason why they threw $100 million at it, so they could capture these moments, with great set design, some really cool costumes, and some CGI that looks great. Now, character-wise, there are a few performances that were captivating and interesting and fun to watch, but the story was so convoluted and complex, you can't even follow it to where you can care about these characters. Things just happen all the time, for no reason, so there's no stakes. You don't really care or believe anything that's going on. And I saw this in real time because I watched it in an almost packed movie theater, and I saw all the kids halfway through the movie, about an hour in, completely check out and start talking with each other. Not good. As a critic, I'm going to give this movie a 1 out of 5. Nothing bothers me more than when a studio takes a beloved piece of intellectual property and is like, hey, we got a bunch of money, watch this, we're going to change everything and make it better. No, you didn't. There were thousands of stories and books that have been created over the years that don't make it past the first lineup, that no one buys and that no one latches onto and follows. But some do, and there's a reason for it. The arrogance never ceases to amaze me when studios do this. They're like, oh, we'll just throw any element in there. It's not going to change anything. We'll change this character. It doesn't really matter. Yes, it does. Now, like I mentioned, the themes of Christianity and stuff were taken out, but it was not limited to that. Everything that they took out, they replaced with a basic push of social justice and current political talking points. Almost every scene was some awkward double entendre speaking about body shaming, walls, your truth, your truth. There's no such thing as your truth. Your truth is just an opinion, and then there is truth. Now, honestly, this happens in almost every Hollywood movie, which is totally fine. I like a lot of movies and go all the times and give praise and kudos to movies that lean left. That's not the point. But this movie literally took the bullet to do that. It's become so convoluted and weird with them trying to force all these issues into it that everyone checks out, even the kids, during a spectacle-driven movie. There was also another clear stab at traditional American lifestyle and values in the movie. The kids get transported to the worst place in the galaxy, the most evil place on Earth, and they're like, don't fall for anything that happens here. And of course, the very first place they go to is a archetype and a caricature turned up to the nth degree of what American culture was like. Traditional American culture with this cul-de-sac that's just pristine and perfect and uniformed, and these kids are all playing with their balls, bouncing it, and their perfect moms walk out and like, honey, it's time for dinner. And these kids almost get sucked into the horrors of this lifestyle, but they don't. They reject it and they leave. And they then get thrust onto a beach where it's just like every summer trip ever you took with your family, was all packed together. But this time they're all white people. And then Michael Peña's character comes out and says, don't worry, we have as much and everything that you need, but nothing you want. I mean, really? In my faith and values, I'm going to give A Wrinkle in Time a 2 out of 5. Now, in the book and in the movie, there's a character named Mrs. Wu, and she gives a bunch of quotes to help Meg on her journey. Specifically in the book, she quotes 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27 through 29, and John chapter 1, verse 5. Now, like I said, all these quotes and any talk about God or Jesus or Christianity were completely removed for the sake of being inclusive. They still included Muhammad Rumi, Buddha, and Gandhi. The implication being that Christian values are not inclusive, so all these other people must be, right? They would have to be. Now, the Torah is very clear that we are all created in God's image. And even if you look at Jesus as just a historical figure, he was literally crucified, laid his life down on the line for all people, and sought to break down traditional barriers so that all people could find salvation. And this is also intentionally done for very political reasons, because to remove conservative content, to remove conservative values too, you must remove any Judeo-Christian values that are also associated with it. And by removing those, they can then insert all the social justice progressive nonsense by saying we're all just universal seeking the same thing, we can all believe our truths and all this kind of thing. This happens hand in hand in all movies. If you remove conservative values, you're also going to be removing some type of Judeo-Christian value that was a part of that story originally. However, there is a strong family theme that does need to be praised. There's a wonderful biracial couple in the movie with a beautiful daughter who's the lead, and they even adopt a young Filipino boy, and they have a great family nucleus, and they stay together, and it's great. This is a big difference than most Disney movies where the parents usually die or it's just one of them or whatever. That always happens in those Disney movies. Either way, A Wrinkle in Time is a great and sad example that not all characters and themes are created equal. I'm Ben Davies. This is Pure Hollywood. If you haven't done it already, you can now download the Rebel Media app. That way you have access to the entire Rebel lineup and can take it with you wherever you go.